Tonight, we're heading to the turf field to explore the newest sport on Marywood's campus. We're tackling all the questions of one of Marywood's rugby athletes. The Season 3 premiere of Beyond the Arch starts now. She is a freshman nutrition and dietetics major with a science minor at Marywood, hailing from Morris County Vocational School of Technology in New Jersey. In addition to that, she is making history as a member of Marywood's inaugural women's rugby team as a scrum half. Before I sit down with her, I go one-on-one with Ciara Sharkey next.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Tonight, we're at the turf field where we're at men's and women's rugby practice. I'm going one-on-one with Ciara Sharkey and learning more about Marywood's newest sport on campus, rugby.
Not from your hip, but a little higher, and literally all you're doing is that. So you just do that little bit of a rotation, you let the ball just naturally roll off your fingers, and it's just like that. Yeah. So they can see what's about to happen. You know what I mean? And then she would pass it out to somebody out there.
So who's gonna do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to the show. I am pleased to be joined by Ciara Sharkey. Ciara, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're really happy to have you here. Rugby is the new sport on campus, so we figured this is the logical place to start. And I think we want to talk first about Ciara the person, then we'll get into Ciara the athlete. So, Ciara, how did you find your way to Marywood?
Well, John originally brought me to Marywood, who is my coach. And he found me at like a couple of tournaments. And then when I came to the school, I really liked the programs that they had, and then they had the rugby program as well, and I just really fell in love.
So, Coach Golden, now he was obviously a pretty big impact, you said, on your coming here. So why don't you explain to me a little bit why he was such an impact and maybe just the recruiting process in general?
Well, at first he spoke to my team, and then I looked up the school, and I was really interested in it. And so I think he emailed me again if I'd like to come for a visit, and so I came for an overnight, and I did a couple visits, and I sat in on some classes in the nutrition program, and I really just liked it, so I'm here.
Well, we're happy to have you. But so I always ask this, more academically driven decision, more athletically driven decision to come here, 50-50? What do you think?
I think it's more of a 50-50 decision. I love playing rugby, and that happened, the school was having a team being started this year, and it was absolutely perfect. And then I'm a nutrition major, and Marywood has a really, really good nutrition program, so it's kind of just like a little perfect storm for me.
Perfect storm. So now, you told me before we were taping here that your minor's kind of interesting, though. Like we said it's a science minor, but exactly what is it now?
So I have a science minor for nutrition. And then since I'm also in the Air Force, when I commission into the Air Force, I'll also be graduating with a minor of aerospace studies.
Sounds very, very impressive. I don't think I'd be able to handle it. So Air Force a little bit now. I think that's really unique and very interesting. You know, you don't see a person every day that's in the Air Force. So what led to that decision?
Well, my brother's in the Marine Corps, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the Marine Corps. I love that my brother's doing it. It's a wonderful decision for him, but it wasn't for me. And then when I found Wilkes University's Air Force ROTC, and then I could also go to Marywood and also play rugby at the same time, it was kind of perfect. And then the Air Force has what I want to do, and it's kind of like iffy for the Marine Corps. So.
Okay. Well, it seems to be all working out for you so far. The rugby, the Air Force, the nutrition, perfect storm, like you said. So how much of a factor was the idea this was the first rugby team? Did that impact your decision at all? Like, is it extra special for you that you get to call yourself a member of the first ever team here? It's
definitely special. You see around most colleges, for any sport, they have pictures of the first team ever for them. and it's definitely going to be something that I'm going to remember. I'll tell my kids or like my friends that like I was on the first ever rugby team at Marywood-University. Like, look how far they've come from 2018 till whenever I'm telling that story. So
really interesting. Now, another question I always like to ask, because you know it's involved, you know, nutrition. I mean, well, first of all, you know, take us through your major a little bit. How involved is the nutrition major, and what kind of classes and stuff are you taking, and all that?
I'm taking a lot of science classes. I do have another minor of science.
Okay.
So there's a lot of science. Then all of the nutrition classes are great. We have a foods lab, which is awesome because we make food for 3 hours and then eat it.
I like that. I like that.
That's always fun. And then the nutrition classes, I love it because it's what I want to do. It's what I'm interested in. So it's never boring to me.
Right.
So it's always fun.
So the workloads?
The workload's manageable.
Okay. So now how does that, this leads to my other question is, do you think that playing a sport helps you in the classroom, or do you think it takes time away, or what do you think?
I definitely think it helps me. It's taught me fantastic time management skills because I have to work around practice time and games and make sure I have all my homework done beforehand and make sure I get a good night's sleep so that I can perform at practice the next day and make sure all my classes are up to date. So without rugby, I don't think I would be as organized as I am. And so I think, yeah, it definitely helps.
So you talked about we talked about balancing it. So what is the jump in schedule like for you? Was it a big jump, or was the transition fairly easy, or what do you think?
It was a big jump. I had only had practice like twice a week, and then games on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays as well, to practice every single day. And then I also have Air Force ROTC, and then we also have games on the weekend. But the first week when I had practice, Air Force ROTC, and classes all had started, it was definitely an adjustment. But like since then, I think I've adjusted well, and like now that the ball's rolling, it's always good.
How do you manage to find time for it all? I mean, how is it? Do you find that like are you very like, you know, everything's scheduled out, or do you kind of just go with the flow, or what do you think?
I always think you find time for the things that make you happy, and you find time for the things that like you love. So even if I'm having a really hectic day with classes and tests and homework, I know like I'll go to rugby or I'll go to Air Force ROTC, and like it'll all be fine because I'm at a place doing something that I absolutely love.
So I mean, I think that's a great answer too. I mean, I think that's really important that everybody finds time to make time for the things that they enjoy doing. I mean, I think that's maybe sometimes that gets lost in some people's lives. But what's your main motivation to, you know, just take on this big workload? What drives you more than anything else?
Well, like behind all of it is probably just like my mom just telling me like I can do it all. And like all in all, it's probably just my happiness. Because like mental health is like a really big thing, and I don't think I would be as happy as a person as I am today if I didn't play rugby, or if I was in a different major. Like nutrition is hard, it's not the easiest major. But if I had chosen just an easier major just because I wanted to play rugby, I definitely would not be happy. And if I had chosen not to do Air Force ROTC because it's just too much for my workload, I wouldn't be happy.
Right.
So I think that's just like a main priority for me, is to just have things that I love and just continue doing those.
I think you're absolutely right on the money with that. Now, a lot of people that come on the show are some kind of a science major. I've just noticed that from my own observations. But is there a tie, do you think, at all between being an athlete and wanting to go into a science-related field, or is that just something that you were drawn to, or what do you think?
Well, for me in nutrition, my mom and my father were really into that type of stuff. So I had just picked it up and like found my love for it at such a young age. So I think that really like fueled the fire for me to go into nutrition and want to become a dietitian.
Right.
So I guess it's like what like your upbringing and what you're like around and what your interests are really.
Okay, now one last thing about you. Is there anything, other interesting things about you, or maybe some hobbies that you've had over the years, or anything that you want to tell anybody about?
I love to travel. I've lived all around the world. I've lived in the Middle East, in northern parts of Africa, all around the U.S. I've been to so many different places in Europe, like I can't even count anymore.
Do you have a favorite place, or favorite place to live, or anything like that?
My favorite place was definitely when I lived in Egypt. So that was always a fun time.
Wow, that is really interesting. Well, we have much more with Ciara right after this.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it. It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me. That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to the Season 3 premiere of Beyond the Arch as my conversation with Ciara continues. All right, so Ciara, well, you told me something interesting on the break that I kind of just want to highlight here. We want to get into Ciara, the athlete, but you told me that while you were living in Egypt that like you drove past a certain place on your way to school or whatever every day. So like, what was that?
I drove past the pyramids.
And that just kind of blew my mind because like the pyramids, that's incredible. Like you have the Sphinx looking at you every day. And I had like, you know, I went past the Convenient on my way to school. So maybe like a few apartment buildings. So just wanted to show that, you know, it's not that it's not beautiful, but there's a little bit of a disparity there.
Yeah,
but
it's a little different.
That was amazing though, but that's true. See, you never know what you'll find out here on Beyond the Arch. Very interesting. All right. Enough of that. We got to get to what the viewers want to talk about, really, which is rugby. It's the new sport on campus. It's, you know, everybody's talking about it. So I feel like there could be some misconceptions about the sport. So what do you think is the number one misconception about the sport?
Definitely that it's very it's a dangerous sport. It's really not that bad. It looks very chaotic when you play it, and it looks very dangerous. But everything is done in such a way that like they make safety the number one priority because it is a very physical sport. So like always like before a game the ref will say like, all right, like come on guys, like our number one thing is safety. We want to make sure everyone makes it off the field is completely fine, and the tackles are done in a very like specific way. The scrums and the lineouts are done in a specific way, and then we have like high tackles. Anything that's unsafe will be called.
Right.
So safety's just always have been a number one priority, and I think that's in most sports as well, because you just want to make sure all the players are going to be okay.
So what, I mean, like maybe this is cliche, I'm sure you hear this all the time, but I feel like it's a question maybe the average fan, or like fringe fan would ask, is like what makes it different from football? Because I feel like a lot of people are just associated with our version of football in America, so.
It makes it something that I always have found different from playing. I never played football, but from playing like different sports in general is I definitely think it's the teammanship. Like for rugby, when you're on the field, yes, you hate your opponents or like you want to beat them, but off the field, you're such a family. Like some of my best friends were on my like opposing teams, and I've kept in contact with them for so long, and they're always so great.
Very interesting. What do you think bonds the community together? Is it just like a natural camaraderie, or is it the idea that it's a very physical sport, so there's an extra level of respect, or what do you think?
Probably just a little bit of both. That we all realize that we're playing a very physical sport, and we want to make sure like the safety aspect of it is always included. But since it's not in like the States like a huge community such as American football, you love like your fellow ruggers, and you want to make sure like they're all your family. Like some of my best friends were on my old team, and some of them are like some of my best friends from back home were on the boys team as well. Like we were all just one big family. It doesn't matter like where you came from, like what background you're from. Like you're here to play rugby, and that's all that we see.
Is it easy to turn it on and turn it off to a degree with, like you talked before about, when you're on the field competing, you need to, not necessarily not like your opponent, but you need to want to beat them. You kind of have to have that instinct a little bit. Then is it easy to just turn it on and off and be friends off the field and then just want to really win on the field? Do you think that's easy for you?
After the game, it's really easy because you're like, oh yes, I get to go see my friends now. Before the game, it definitely takes a little longer just because you have to put yourself in the correct mindset. Because if you go on the field thinking, oh, like these are my friends, like I don't want to hit them, I don't want to play against them because they'll be mad if we win or I'll be mad if we lose. Like that's not the right headspace to be in. You want to go in and you want to be there for your team and only for your team and make sure the other team is safe, but you want to do the best, like everything in your ability to try and win the game.
Absolutely. Winning is everything, I guess, sometimes, as they
Yeah.
say. Maybe not everything, but for our purposes, a big thing. Okay. So you said it wasn't a really dangerous sport before, but I think you did tell me that you hyperextended your spinal cord.
Yeah, I hurt my back.
Okay, that sounds like a little,
on my
a fairly serious
on my 15th
injury.
birthday, yeah, I hurt my back, but I'm back and better than ever. So
Yeah,
I guess like everything happens for a reason, I guess. So
how do you weigh the idea of knowing that something like, it is, it's not, you say it's not a dangerous sport, but it's probably a little bit more dangerous than other sports. So how do you weigh that idea of just going in there with reckless abandon, so to speak, and not being worried about injuries or anything like that?
Well, I wouldn't say it's like reckless abandonment in like some way. I know I don't really watch football, but like from everything that I've seen, you kind of just throw yourself on each other and hope for the best. For rugby, everything is done in such like a specific way to make sure safety is one of the #1 aspects. And like when I play, if you go onto the field thinking, oh, I don't want to play because I'm going to get hurt, like bad things are going to happen. But if you go on the field thinking like they know how to tackle, I know how to tackle, we're all going to be fine, then that's a better mindset to be in.
How grueling is the sport? What kind of a physical toll do you think it takes on you?
I'm definitely sore after games. That's a 100%, but it's a lot of running. It's physical, but that's like most sports. You're going to be sore after your game. And I love it. I love being sore after game because it means I've put everything out on the field.
Right. Now we should highlight in your last game, you said, or last match, I guess I should say, 3 tries, right? So you said that's a hat trick in rugby. So congratulations.
Thank you.
What do you attribute early success to?
Probably my parents and my coach on my high school team. My parents always supported me through any sport that I chose to play growing up, and I guess rugby really stuck. And then when I transitioned to my high school team, my coach was absolutely fantastic. He was like all of them. We didn't have just one. They were all the best coaches I could have ever asked for. They taught me so much that I need to know, and Coach Golden is going to teach me even more that I'm going to need to know, and I can just credit them to like the player that I am today, because without them I would be nothing.
I think every athlete that comes on here, that's a common theme too. Everybody has a very strong support system behind them. Is there any one mentor you look to? That's a good question to ask a lot of athletes. Everybody has different answers. Is there anyone that you'd say really influenced you more than anybody else in terms of how you play rugby?
Might be cliche, but it's probably my mom.
Okay. No, I think that's
she always taught me to, like when I had a hard hit or I got hit hard, that you just get back up and you give it right back to the person, and to just suck it up.
Right.
You're playing rugby. You're not there to like go easy on your other team. You want to have like a good game, and you want to have like everything done perfectly, but stuff happens. So everything's not going to go perfectly every single time, and you just have to learn to adapt. And like from there, that's what my coaches have taught me over the years. Like I definitely wouldn't be the player that I am without them.
So one final question for you. It's kind of like a two-parter, but so goal for this season, maybe personally or for the team, and then I always like to ask this question: what makes it all worth it for you in the end, playing the sport that you love to play?
One goal that I have for myself is to grow as a player. I've never played college rugby before, so it's definitely going to be different. I played with a group of girls for so long that I'd known them so well, like their moves, what they were thinking. We all had the same mindset. We were all taught by the same people. And now that it's our first season, brand new girls, new place, like new home. I'm away from my family. I just gonna have to learn to adapt to my surroundings. So a goal would definitely be just to have the team thrive and to have just a great season. And what makes it all worthwhile for me is just the love for the game. I could not see myself not playing rugby.
Well, I think that's a pretty good place to end it.
All right.
Ciara, thanks for coming on, and good luck with the first season of Marywood Rugby here.
Thank you.
And stick around and I'll tell you what you can expect next week and all season long on Beyond the Arch.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook. And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tight.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
I'd like to thank Ciara for coming on the show tonight. I'd also like to thank you for tuning into the Season 3 premiere of our show. You can look for the second episode of Beyond the Arch next week when men's rugby athlete Mike Simonella is here. Remember to tune in on almost every Wednesday at 8 o'clock this semester as we welcome a diverse group of Marywood student athletes onto the program to explore both their sport and athletic life, as well as who they are away from the athletic world. Until next time, make sure to head over to TV-Marywood's official YouTube page to catch up on past episodes of the show. Be sure to follow TV-Marywood on Twitter and like us on Facebook for all the latest Beyond the Arch episodes, highlights, and news. Until next time, always remember to look past the jersey and beyond the arch. From everyone at TV-Marywood, have a great night.